الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. Inshallah, we'll be finishing the Quran today. Some of the surahs, of course, towards the end, the surahs are a lot and there's so many topics to speak about, to talk about, so many lessons to be learned from. But according to the saying of Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, he says that there is a surah in the Quran that if it were the only surah that Allah Ta'ala was to reveal from the Quran. So we have so many surahs in the Quran, but if Allah Ta'ala were to just reveal that one surah, it would have been enough for the guidance of the entire mankind. And that surah Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah says is Surah Al-Asr, where the message that Allah Ta'ala He's given to the mankind, each and every single one of us, the message is very great, very great. That Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah says that it would have been enough for the hidayah, the guidance of the entire mankind. And the surah tells us what? Right in the beginning, when Allah Ta'ala swears upon time, when Allah Ta'ala takes qasam upon time. And amazingly, the quotations of some of the tabi'een were the people who came after the Sahaba radiallahu majma'in, and who met the Sahaba. So some of the tabi'een, they made a quotation. They said that we met a group of people, أدركت أقواما. Right? Hasan Basri rahimahullah, he says, أدركت أقواما كان أحدهم أشح على عمره منه على درهمه. Where he said that I met a number of people, meaning the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I've met them, and what is their quality? What type of people are those? كان أحدهم أشح على عمره منه على درهمه. That they are more stingy upon their time than they are with their wealth. What does that mean? That when you ask them for money, they would openly give it to you. 1,000, 2,000, 1 million, 2 million. If they had it, they wouldn't care about it. They would give it to you if you're in need of it. But if you wanted time from them, if you wanted to sell, oh, can I have some time from you? I want to sit to you, to speak to you, and talk to you about something. They wouldn't give you that very easily. Allah Ta'ala, He's teaching us in this surah. And one of the things of Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, that it should teach us is time management. How to manage your time. From the time you wake up, from the minute you wake up to the time you rest. What is your time management? Where are you spending your time? How much of that free time are you spending in the obedience of Allah Ta'ala, and how much of it are you spending in the disobedience of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? So that's why right in the beginning Allah Ta'ala says, Wal Asr, I swear upon time. Because you have to be mindful. This time is going by. Allah Ta'ala says, time ticking. Each and every single second, each and every single minute, you're getting closer and closer. And surprisingly, when people, they celebrate their birthday and they're so happy. Oh, mashallah, I'm this years old and I'm that many years old. Every single second of your life, you're getting closer and closer to your grave. You should be reminded of that as well. That each and every single year that you celebrate, you should also remember that I'm getting closer to my grave as well. And not that you disobey Allah Ta'ala on that day, but rather you obey Allah on that day. That what? Ya Allah, give me the ability to obey you. Because I know my time is going to end up one day. And I'm going to be standing right before you. And Allah Ta'ala right afterwards, He says, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. Where each and every single human being, men, women, old, young, each and every single person in this world is in a loss. Is in a great loss. No matter how much money you're making, no matter how fancy cars you drive, it does not matter in the sight of Allah. Allah Ta'ala says you are all in loss. And then Allah Ta'ala makes an exception. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. That except those, it's not me, I'm not making any exception. The Quran, the book of Allah, Allah Ta'ala is making an exception. Allah Ta'ala says, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Except those who believe in Allah, who bring iman in Allah, who make their faith strong in Allah. Islam is something and iman is something else, two different things. Islam is, yes, we are in the fold of Islam, but now you need to work on your iman to be called a mu'min from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, except those who bring iman. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and do good deeds. Two things. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, bring iman. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, continuously do good deeds. Continuously do good deeds, right? Even if you were to do a sin, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, you do a sin, right after that you follow it up with a good deed, Allah Ta'ala will wipe away that sin. Allah Ta'ala will erase that sin. وعملوا الصالحات. Second thing, وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. And enjoin and advise one another to truth of haqq each and every single day. Talk to one another about haqq, the truth. وتواصوا بالصبر, and advise one another about sabr, patience. And these are all lessons that the month of Ramadan is teaching us. Number one, time management. Be very, very mindful about your time. Where you spend your time. Where, to be honest, wallahi, throughout the entire day, 24 hours, how many of that how many hours in a day where you go to sleep? How many of that are you spending on your phone? How many of that are you spending actually praying in front of Allah? If we calculate all of it, hardly maybe 15 minutes or maybe even 10 minutes goes in our prayers. The rest of it, we don't know where it goes. The rest of it, we're just wasting. Ramadan, that should teach us. The month of Ramadan is ending. Time management. Know where you're spending your time. Number two, increase your faith in iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number three, just like how you were doing good a'mal in the month of Ramadan, just like how you were doing good things, good deeds in the month of Ramadan, telling one another, advising one another, brother, I'm going for salah, you should come with me too. Telling your mother, telling your sister, telling your parents to do the good thing. Likewise, outside of the month of Ramadan, you should enjoin one another to do good. And the last thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, advise one another to do sabr, to have patience. And when you have patience in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this food that we leave, this drink that we leave, so many things that we want to do throughout the day, but what Allah ta'ala says, don't do it. What do? We stay away from. Tawasaw bis-sabr. Just like that, your entire life you should live. Where you want to commit a sin, you would want to do a sin, but Allah ta'ala says, don't do it. I won't do it. I'm not doing it for the sake of Allah ta'ala. And when you do that, Allah ta'ala will reward you in a manner or you could not even imagine. Just to go over this hadith, and inshallah we'll conclude with this. There is a law that from the time of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam till the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and of course till the day of Qiyamah, it's an open law from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where Allah ta'ala says that anyone who does a good deed, Allah ta'ala will multiply it by 10. Man ja'a bil hasanati falahu ashru amthaliha. You do a good deed, Allah ta'ala will multiply it by 10. So when this was revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, I'm just telling you how great sabr is, how great patience is. And when you do patience, when you hope for reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what would Allah ta'ala grant you on the day of Qiyamah? So anyhow, when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when this ayah was revealed, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbi zid ummati, Ya Rabbi zid ummati, Ya Allah, increase for my ummah. This is not enough. Increase for my ummah. 1 multiplied by 10 is not enough, Ya Allah. Increase for my ummah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed that the ayah upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء. That you do 1, Allah ta'ala will multiply it by 700. Imagine that. Any business in the world that does, you give $1, you get 700 back. Allah ta'ala revealed on the ayah to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you do 1, your ummah does 1, I'll multiply it 700 folds, 700 times. You do a good deed, that is how Allah ta'ala will pay you back. And amazingly, the Prophet ﷺ, he still said, Ya Rabbi zid ummati. Ya Allah, increase for my ummah. This is still not enough. Increase for my ummah, Ya Allah. That's such Rahim, such Kareem. Because of him, we're alive. Or else the sins that we do, the sins that we commit in the darkness of the night, Allah Ta'ala could have turned us into monkeys and pigs, just like Allah Ta'ala had turned Bani Israel. Anyhow, so the Prophet ﷺ said, Ya Rabbi zid ummati. Ya Allah, increase for my ummah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the 3rd time reveals to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. That the ones who have patience in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hope for reward from